Welcome to Coins News Daily. Today we are going to reveal the most valuable and rare Washington State quarter dollars from the United States of America that could be worth a lot of money. This Washington State quarter looks ordinary, but it can buy you a car. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and comment below. Subscribe to Coins News Daily for more rare coin updates. Thanks with love for watching. Top 1 today. We are talking about one of the most fascinating coins ever produced by the United States Mint, the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial Washington quarter with the D Mint mark, a coin that millions have seen, but very few truly understand. This quarter was created to honor 200 years of American independence, a once-in-a-lifetime event. The United States Mint did something it had never done before and has never repeated since in the same way. Instead of changing the date every year, they froze time. They placed both 1776 and 1976 on the coin, symbolizing the birth of a nation and its bicentennial celebration. That alone already makes this quarter special, but the real story begins when we look deeper, turn the coin over, and immediately, it feels different. Gone is the familiar eagle that had appeared on quarters for decades. Instead, you see a colonial drummer standing proudly, a symbol of revolution, resistance, and freedom. 13 stars float above the drummer, representing the original colonies. This design was bold, emotional, and deeply symbolic. It was chosen through a national competition, meaning the American people themselves helped decide what this historic coin would look like. That makes this quarter not just minted history, but shared history. Now let's talk about the D Mint mark, because this is where things start getting really interesting for collectors. The D stands for Denver, one of the busiest mints in the country. Millions upon millions of bicentennial quarters were struck there, which is why many people assume these coins are common and worthless. That assumption is exactly why rare examples continue to hide in plain sight. What most people don't realize is that rarity is not always about how many coins were made. It's about how many survived in a certain condition, how many escaped errors, and how many slipped through quality control with something unusual. The bicentennial quarter is a perfect example of this hidden rarity point. One of the most desirable factors that can transform this quarter from ordinary to extraordinary is striking quality. Many bicentennial quarters were weakly struck, especially on the drummer's details and Washington's hair. Coins that show strong, crisp details across the entire surface are much harder to find. Full drum lines, sharp lettering, and clean stars instantly raise collector interest. Then come the mint errors, the true heartstoppers for coin collectors. Some 1776 to 1976 D quarters were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were accidentally struck on metal intended for other coins. Others show double die errors, where parts of the design appear double due to misalignment during the minting process. Look closely at the lettering, the date, and the drummer's details. If you see doubling that is raised and not flat, you may be looking at something special. Another error that excites collectors is off-center strikes. These occur when the blank coin is not properly aligned during striking. Some bicentennial quarters exist with dramatic off-center designs where part of the coin is missing, yet the date and mint mark remain visible. These coins are visual proof of minting mistakes and are highly collectible. Clipped planchets are another hidden treasure. These errors happen when the metal sheet is improperly cut, leaving a curved or straight clip missing from the coin. When such errors appear on a bicentennial quarter, especially with clear details and the D Mint mark intact, collectors pay close attention. Surface anomalies also play a role. Some quarters show die cracks, die chips, or even cuds, where a portion of the die broke away, leaving raised blobs of metal on the coin. These features are not damage, but fingerprints of the mint itself, frozen in time. Condition is everything. A circulated bicentennial quarter tells a story of use and everyday life. But an uncirculated example, especially one with original mint luster and no wear, becomes something else entirely. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services are shockingly scarce, even though millions were produced. Most were spent, scratched, or worn down over time. There is also confusion surrounding silver bicentennial quarters, which makes this topic even more exciting. While most D Mint quarters were struck in copper nickel clad, special silver versions were produced for collectors, but not for circulation. Any D-mint quarter suspected of being silver must be carefully tested, because a genuine silver composition instantly changes the story and the value. Collectors love this coin not only for its potential worth, but for what it represents. It marks a moment when America paused to look back at its beginnings while moving forward. Every bicentennial quarter carries that spirit, but only a select few carry the features that transform them into true collectibles. This is why coin lovers should listen carefully, examine closely, and never underestimate a coin just because it looks familiar. The most valuable treasures are often the ones people overlook every day. Check your change. Check old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers. That ordinary-looking quarter might not be ordinary at all. Now, let's talk about what everyone is waiting for: the value, the real market interest, and the auction results that have made collectors' eyes widen. In today's real coin market, a standard circulated 1776 to 1976 D bicentennial quarter is generally worth its face value. However, uncirculated examples with strong strikes and original luster can sell for several dollars. High-grade professionally certified examples have sold at auction for amounts reaching into the hundreds of dollars. Rare error examples, including double dies, off-center strikes, and wrong planchet errors, have achieved auction prices ranging from several $100s to several $1,000s, depending on rarity, condition, and demand. This is why the bicentennial quarter is not just a coin, but a reminder that history, rarity, and value can exist quietly in your pocket, waiting for the right eyes to notice. If you love coins, history, and hidden treasures, this is one coin you should never ignore. Top 2. We are diving into a small piece of American history that looks ordinary at first glance, but the deeper you look, the more fascinating it becomes. This is the United States of America Washington State quarter dollar from New Jersey, dated 1787 to 1999, struck with the D mint mark. A coin that millions of people have held in their hands, spent without thinking, or tossed into a drawer, never realizing that some examples of this quarter can be far more valuable than face value. If you are a collector, a treasure hunter, or someone who loves discovering hidden value in everyday objects, listen very carefully, because this coin has stories, secrets, and rare mistakes that can turn an ordinary quarter into something special. The New Jersey quarter was part of the historic 50 State Quarters program, one of the most successful coin programs ever launched by the United States Mint. When this program began in 1999, it reignited public interest in coin collecting on a massive scale. People who had never collected coins before suddenly started checking their pocket change, searching for different designs, mint marks, and dates. New Jersey was one of the first 5 states released in the program, and that alone gives it historical importance. The design honors New Jersey's role in American independence, featuring George Washington crossing the Delaware River during the Revolutionary War. This moment was a turning point in American history, symbolizing courage, leadership, and the fight for freedom. That emotional connection is one reason collectors still feel drawn to this coin today. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington, a design based on the classic bust originally created by John Flanagan. Above his head is the word liberty, and beneath his chin is the motto "In God We Trust." The D mint mark, when present, tells us the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. This small letter may seem insignificant, but for collectors, mint marks can mean everything. The reverse design is where New Jersey truly shines. Washington is shown standing in a boat as it crosses the icy Delaware River, with soldiers rowing through harsh winter conditions. The date 1787 refers to the year New Jersey became the 3rd state to ratify the Constitution, while 1999 marks the year this quarter was issued. The scene is detailed, dramatic, and full of motion, making it one of the most visually striking designs in the entire state quarter series. Now here is where things get interesting. While most New Jersey quarters from the Denver Mint are common, certain examples are anything but ordinary. The real excitement begins when we talk about mint errors and production anomalies. These are the mistakes that happen during the minting process, and they are the reason some collectors are willing to pay serious money for what looks like a simple quarter point. One of the most sought-after errors is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. If the date and mint mark are still visible, these coins become especially desirable. The more dramatic the shift, the more attention it attracts. Another fascinating error is the double die. This happens when the die used to strike the coin receives multiple impressions that are slightly misaligned. On the New Jersey quarter, doubling can sometimes be seen on the lettering, Washington's profile, or the details of the boat and oars. These errors are subtle, which makes them even more exciting for collectors who enjoy close inspection and discovery. There are also clipped planchet errors, where a piece of the metal blank is missing before the coin is struck. These coins have a curved or straight missing section along the edge. They are instantly recognizable and highly collectible, especially when the rest of the coin remains well struck. Die cracks and cut errors are another category that collectors love. Over time, the dies used to strike coins can develop cracks. When metal flows into these cracks, it creates raised lines or blobs on the finished coin. Some New Jersey quarters show dramatic cracks across the design, adding character and uniqueness that simply cannot be replicated. Then there are coins struck on the wrong planchet, one of the rarest and most exciting errors of all. Imagine a New Jersey quarter design struck on a blank meant for a different denomination. These mistakes are extremely rare and are often authenticated by professional grading services due to their high value. Condition also plays a massive role in value. A New Jersey quarter with AD mint mark in average circulated condition is common, but examples in pristine, uncirculated condition with strong luster, sharp details, and no wear can command much more attention. Coins graded at the highest levels are often the ones that end up in auctions, where collectors compete fiercely to own the best examples available. What makes this coin especially appealing is that it is still accessible. Unlike ancient coins or ultra-rare gold pieces locked away in museums, New Jersey quarters are still out there. They are hiding in collections, old jars, inherited boxes, and sometimes even in circulation. That sense of possibility keeps collectors searching and watching videos like this one from start to finish. For new collectors, this coin is a perfect entry point. It teaches history, design appreciation, error recognition, and the importance of condition, all in one small piece of metal. For experienced collectors, it offers the thrill of hunting rare varieties and errors that are not always obvious at first glance. So the next time you see a New Jersey 1787 to 1999 Washington quarter with AD mint mark, do not dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look. Examine the edges, the lettering, the details of Washington's face, and the motion in the boat. You might be holding something far more interesting than you ever expected. Now let's talk about value, because this is the part everyone waits for. In normal circulated condition, a standard New Jersey quarter from the Denver Mint is usually worth face value to slightly above face value. In uncirculated condition, examples can sell for a few dollars in the collector market. High-grade certified examples have reached prices in the range of several tens of dollars. Error coins tell a very different story. Off-center strikes, dramatic die cracks, double die errors, and clipped planchets have sold for prices ranging from several dozens of dollars to several hundreds of dollars, depending on the severity, visibility, and overall condition. Extremely rare and authenticated error examples have reached auction prices in the range of several hundreds to over $1,000 in competitive bidding situations. That is why collectors pay attention, why they study, and why they never stop looking. Because sometimes, history, rarity, and value are hiding in plain sight. Top 3. We are talking about something that looks simple, something many people have touched, spent, or ignored without a second thought, but hidden inside it is history, mystery, and in rare cases, serious money. If you love coins, if you love stories, or if you love discovering value where others see nothing, stay with me till the end because this video is made for you. In your hand right now, or maybe in an old jar, drawer, or wallet, there could be a Washington State quarter that tells a powerful story of America. More specifically, we are diving deep into the United States of America New York State quarter, dated 1788 to 2001, with the D mint mark. This coin is not just metal. It is history pressed into copper and nickel, and for collectors, it can be a treasure. The New York State quarter was released in 2001 as part of the famous 50 State Quarters program. New York was the 11th state to join the Union, and this coin proudly celebrates that legacy. On the reverse side, you see the outline of New York State, bold and confident, with the iconic Statue of Liberty standing tall. To collectors, this design alone represents freedom, immigration, opportunity, and power. The date 1788 marks the year New York became a state, while 2001 marks the year the coin entered circulation. Now let us talk about the D Mint mark, because this is where things start getting interesting. The D Mint mark means the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. Millions of New York quarters were made, yes, but not all were created equal. Coins struck at different mints can have different qualities, different errors, and different survival rates in high condition. This is where collectors lean forward and listen carefully. Most people think rare coins must be very old, but that is not always true. Rarity is not only about age. It is about condition, errors, minting mistakes, and how many examples exist in collectible quality. The New York quarter with a D Mint mark becomes special when something goes wrong during the minting process or when the coin survives in exceptional condition. One of the most exciting things collectors look for on this coin is mint errors. Errors turn an ordinary coin into a superstar. Imagine a coin where the design is slightly off-center, where the lettering is doubled, or where the planchet was flawed before striking. These mistakes were never meant to leave the mint, yet somehow they did, and today they are hunted by collectors all over the world. A double die error is one of the most famous and valuable types. This happens when the coin design is impressed more than once but slightly misaligned. On a New York quarter, this can show up in the words, the date, or even the outline of the state. To the trained eye, this doubling is not damage, it is gold. Collectors love it because it proves the coin is unique. Another powerful error is a broad strike. This happens when the coin is struck without the collar that normally holds it in place. The result is a wider, flatter coin with distorted edges. These are dramatic, easy to see, and highly collectible. A New York D Mint quarter with a strong broad strike can stop a collector mid-sentence. Then there are off-center strikes. Part of the design is missing, pushed to one side, leaving blank space. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still showing the date and mint mark, the more desirable the coin becomes. These coins look wrong, and that is exactly why collectors want them. Do not forget about die cracks and cut errors. Over time, minting dies wear out and crack. When metal flows into those cracks, raised lines or blobs appear on the coin. On the New York quarter, these can appear near the Statue of Liberty, the state outline, or the lettering. Each crack tells a story of pressure, stress, and a machine pushed to its limits. Condition is another massive factor. Most New York quarters were heavily circulated. They were spent, scratched, dropped, and forgotten. But a small number survived in near-perfect condition. Coins graded at the highest levels, with full original luster and sharp details, are extremely desirable. A D Mint New York quarter in pristine condition can be far more valuable than one with an error but heavy wear. Collectors also look for unusual toning. Natural rainbow toning caused by storage conditions can turn an ordinary quarter into a work of art. Blues, purples, golds, and reds dancing across the surface can add serious premium if the toning is original and attractive. What makes this coin even more exciting is accessibility. You do not need to be rich to start looking. These coins were made for everyday use. That means anyone can find one. Coin rolls from banks, old collections, or even pocket change can hide surprises. That feeling of discovery is what keeps collectors hooked. This coin connects modern America to its revolutionary roots. It connects Denver Mint machinery to New York history. It connects everyday people to serious collectors and auction houses. That is the magic. Now, let us talk about value, because I know you are waiting for it. Most New York State quarters from Denver in circulated condition are worth only face value. However, high-grade uncirculated examples can sell for several dollars. Error coins change everything. Depending on the type and strength of the error, real market prices range from tens of dollars to several $100s. Exceptional error examples and top-graded coins have reached auction values in the thousands of dollars range, with some rare pieces selling for several $1,000s at major coin auctions. If you love coins, listen carefully, check your change, and never underestimate what you already own. Sometimes history, rarity, and value are hiding right in front of you. Top 4. We are diving into a coin that almost everyone in the United States has seen, many have spent without a second thought, and only a few truly understand. This is not just pocket change. This is a small piece of American history, identity, and hidden value. Today's story is about the United States of America Washington Quarter Series, and our main focus is the Kansas State Quarter with the P Mint mark, a coin connected to the years 1861 through 2005, and a coin that quietly hides some of the most fascinating errors and collector surprises of the modern era. So sit back, relax, and listen very carefully, because if you are a coin lover, a collector, or even someone who just likes stories about hidden treasures, this video is made for you. The Washington Quarter itself is one of the most iconic coins ever produced by the United States. Introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, this coin became a symbol of stability, leadership, and American pride. Over the decades, it passed through countless hands, survived wars, recessions, and revolutions in technology. Then, in 1999, everything changed with the launch of the 50 State Quarters program, a project that turned everyday coins into miniature history lessons. Kansas entered this program in 2005, and it was no coincidence. The year marked 144 years since Kansas became the 34th state of the Union in 1861. The design chosen for the Kansas Quarter tells a story of the American frontier. On the reverse, we see a powerful American bison standing tall, representing the wild strength of the Great Plains. Beside it, a graceful sunflower, the official state flower, symbolizing resilience and hope. The inscription "Home of the Free" reflects Kansas's role in the struggle over freedom during the Civil War era. Most people see this coin and think it is common. Millions were minted. It circulated widely. It still shows up in change today. But here is where the story gets interesting. Not all Kansas quarters are created equal. And some of them are worth far more than 25 cents. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P Mint mark, produced a massive number of Kansas quarters. But within that huge production came mistakes, and in the coin world, mistakes can turn ordinary metal into something extraordinary. Errors are what transform a coin from pocket change into a collector's prize. One of the most famous errors on the Kansas quarter is the so-called "In God We Rust" error. Due to a grease-filled die, part of the motto "In God We Trust" appears weak or missing, making the word trust look like rust. This was not intentional, and that is exactly why collectors love it. These coins slipped into circulation before the error was noticed, and once the story spread, people began checking every Kansas quarter they could find. Another sought-after error involves double die varieties. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the manufacturing process, creating a doubled appearance on letters or numbers. On some Kansas quarters, collectors have found doubling on the date, the word Kansas, or other design elements. These are subtle details, and many people spend them without ever realizing what they had. There are also off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and broad strikes, all of which add to the coin's rarity. While these errors are not exclusive to Kansas quarters, finding them on a popular state quarter makes them especially desirable. Collectors love coins that tell a story, and an error coin tells a story of imperfection, chance, and discovery. Condition plays a massive role in value as well. A Kansas quarter that has never been circulated, with sharp details, original luster, and no wear, is far more attractive to collectors than one that has spent years bouncing around in cash registers. Coins graded by professional grading services often command significantly higher prices, especially when combined with a known error. What makes this coin even more fascinating is its accessibility. Unlike rare gold coins locked away in museums or private collections, the Kansas P Mint mark quarter is a coin that people can still find. It turns everyday searching into a treasure hunt. Coin lovers check rolls from banks, dig through old jars, and examine inherited collections, all hoping to find that one special example. For collectors, this coin represents more than money. It represents the thrill of the hunt, the connection to American history, and the joy of discovering something rare where no one else was looking. It reminds us that value is not always obvious, and sometimes the most interesting things are hiding in plain sight. So the next time you see a Washington quarter with the Kansas design, do not rush to spend it. Look closely. Check the motto. Examine the details. That small piece of metal might be carrying a story, an error, and a value far beyond its face denomination. Now, let us talk about what everyone is waiting to hear, the real market value and auction worth of these coins. A regular circulated Kansas P Mint Mark quarter is generally worth its face value. However, uncirculated examples can sell for a few dollars in the collector market. Error coins are where things become exciting. In God We Rust Kansas quarters in good condition have sold for prices ranging from several tens of dollars to over $100 depending on condition and strength of the error. Strong double die examples and dramatic mint errors have reached auction values in the range of several $100s, with the finest certified examples pushing even higher when collectors compete for the best specimens. This is why coin lovers listen carefully, search patiently, and never underestimate what might be hiding in their change. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Kansas State Quarter, stay curious, keep collecting, and remember that history, rarity, and value often come together in the smallest places. Top 5. We are diving deep into a quarter that is simple in appearance but surprisingly interesting, mysterious, and yes, potentially valuable if you know what to look for. I'm talking about the 2009 United States Washington quarter dollar featuring the Guam Territory reverse with a Philadelphia P mint mark. This quarter might look like the everyday 25-cent piece you find in your pocket change, but stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this coin has become one of the most talked about modern collector pieces in the Washington quarter series. Picture this, it's the year 2009, the state quarters program has ended after an epic run, honoring all 50 states. But the U.S. Mint isn't done yet. Instead of states, they start a new series honoring the District of Columbia and the U.S. territories. One of these territories is Guam, a beautiful island in the Pacific with a fascinating history. On one side of this quarter you have the iconic portrait of George Washington, just like every modern quarter, but on the reverse you get a stunning glimpse into the rich culture of Guam, complete with a latte stone, a traditional Chamorro canoe called a prow, and the inscription celebrating Guahanay Tano Man Chamorro, a reminder of the island's heritage and the people who call it home. Coin identifier. Now yes, to the casual observer this might still look like just another quarter. But for coin hunters, collectors, and numismatic adventurers, this piece is far more interesting than its face value suggests. Let's start with the rarity and mintage. The 2009 Guam quarter with the P mint mark was struck in Philadelphia and had a total mintage of about 45 million coins, quite a drop compared to the hundreds of millions of other issues in previous years. That might not sound super rare, but in the world of modern coins where many are minted in the hundreds of millions or even billions, that's actually a noticeably lower production run, especially for a territory design that many people never seem to encounter in daily change. You'd be surprised how many collectors have never seen one in circulation, and people go years hunting just to add it to their album. Wikipedia Reddit. Now let's talk about why coin collectors get excited about this piece. First off, this quarter was only minted for a short time. The U.S. Mint didn't produce it for years. That short window of production makes it a cool catch for anyone trying to complete the 2009 territory set. Imagine finding this in your pocket change during laundry day. That's the kind of moment coin collectors dream about. Reddit. Second, while most of these coins are common in circulated condition, certain conditions and errors can make this coin truly stand out. For example, off-center strike errors, where the design isn't perfectly centered, can significantly increase collector interest. And believe it or not, coins with errors like off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or die chips can be worth far more than typical examples because serious collectors hunt them down aggressively. Coin value checker. Now here is something mind-blowing. In the world of rare error coins, a 2009 Guam quarter with a 30% off-center strike graded MS65 fetched a very impressive price at auction, a clear sign that modern coins can be worth big money when rare mistakes occur. It's a reminder that even coins from recent years can hide surprises that excite collectors. Coin value checker. But let's bring this back to reality and talk about what most of these coins are worth on the market today. In general, a typical 2009 P Guam quarter in circulated condition, the kind you might find in your change, is usually only worth its face value, a quarter. But once you start looking at uncirculated examples, mint state examples, and certified coins, the real fun begins. Coin trackers. Now let's get into actual current market values in real words, because we know that's what many of you are here to find out. A regular 2009 P Guam quarter in average condition, yes, the kind that's been jingling around in wallets and registers, is typically worth about 25 cents. That's right, most of these are worth the same as when they were first minted. Coin trackers. But here's where it gets interesting for collectors. If the coin is in high mint state condition, especially if it's been professionally graded and certified by a reputable service, these coins can be worth up to around $1 or slightly more. And if you find one with a dramatic error that's been authenticated, values can climb even higher, sometimes into the tens or hundreds of dollars for the most striking examples. CoinAuctionShelp.com Coin value checker. So for the everyday collector, the one who doesn't just hunt raw change, but pays attention to condition and detail, the 2009 P Guam quarter is a piece worth holding onto, checking closely, and possibly even sending in for grading if you suspect something unusual. And here's the part that really makes longtime collectors smile. Modern coins like this are not old, but they do tell a story. They represent a moment in numismatic history where the United States honored not just states, but territories with deep cultural legacies. That story, engraved in metal, is what makes coins like this meaningful, collectible, and yes, in some rare cases, valuable. So whether you're a coin collector who dreams of finding something special in your spare change, or you're someone who just appreciates beautiful coin design and fascinating history, the 2009 P Guam quarter dollar deserves your attention. Before we wrap up, let me ask you this. Have you ever found one of these until now? Drop a comment below and tell us your experience. And if you've ever seen an error or a beautifully preserved mint state piece, let us know. Your story might inspire the next coin hunter. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin collecting insights, rare finds, and numismatic mysteries unveiled. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep hunting those coins, because you never know when a tiny quarter might turn into a big discovery. Top 6. We are diving into a coin that many people have already touched, already spent, and already ignored, yet this same coin is quietly becoming one of the most talked about modern Washington quarters among collectors in the United States of America. If you love rare coins, hidden value, and surprising errors that turn pocket change into serious money, then listen very carefully, because the 2021 P Mint Mark Washington quarter featuring the Crossing the Delaware design is not just another quarter. It is a modern coin with a powerful story, unexpected rarity, and collector demand that is growing faster than most people realize. When the United States Mint released the Crossing the Delaware quarter, it immediately stood out. This design broke away from the traditional eagle reverse that collectors had seen for decades. Instead, it showed General George Washington on horseback, crossing the icy Delaware River during one of the most critical moments in American history. This was not just a design change. It was a bold artistic move, and bold moves often create collectible legends. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of these quarters, and at first glance, that might sound like nothing special. Many people assume that high mintage means no value. But seasoned collectors know something important. Value is not created by mintage numbers alone. Value is created by condition, rarity within the batch, minting errors, demand, and historical appeal. This coin checks more boxes than most modern quarters ever do. The first thing that makes the 2021 P Crossing the Delaware quarter desirable is the sharpness of the design when struck correctly. High-quality examples show incredible detail in Washington's uniform, the movement of the horse, and the dramatic posture that reflects urgency and leadership. Collectors actively search for coins with full details, strong strikes, and clean surfaces because those pieces stand out sharply when graded, but the real excitement begins when we talk about errors. This is where average coins turn into treasure. Some 2021p crossing the Delaware quarters were struck with doubled dies. These errors can show doubling in the lettering, the date, or details in Washington's figure. Doubling like this happens during the die creation process and cannot be replicated later, making these coins genuine mint errors and highly collectible. Another major error collectors are hunting for is off-center strikes. Some examples show the design shifted noticeably away from the center, while still retaining a visible date and mint mark. Coins like this are dramatic to look at, instantly recognizable, and extremely appealing to error collectors who want something visually exciting. Die cracks and die breaks are also found on some of these quarters. As minting dies wear down or crack, metal flows into those cracks, leaving raised lines on the coin. These errors tell a story of a die at the end of its life, and many collectors love them because no two are exactly the same. Some cracks are thin and subtle, while others are bold and heavy, creating a powerful visual impact. There are also examples with weak strikes or missing details caused by improper pressure during minting. While weak strikes are sometimes overlooked, certain collectors seek them out when they affect specific areas of the design in unusual ways. In the world of coin collecting, unusual often equals valuable. Condition plays a massive role here. Coins that were pulled directly from mint rolls or stored carefully can still exist in near-perfect condition. These high-grade examples are the ones that grading companies pay close attention to. When a modern coin earns a top grade, it becomes exponentially more desirable because so few survive without marks, scratches, or wear. Collectors also appreciate this coin because it represents a transition period in U.S. coinage. The crossing the Delaware design was a short-lived return to a historical theme before newer programs took over. Short design runs often become favorites because they capture a specific moment in time that never repeats. What truly fuels demand is the emotional connection. This is not just a quarter. It is a symbol of resilience, leadership, and American history. When collectors hold this coin, they are holding a reminder of a turning point that shaped a nation. Emotional appeal is one of the strongest drivers of long-term value. Many people unknowingly spend these quarters every day. They are still out there, hiding in circulation, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. That treasure hunt feeling is exactly why collectors love this coin. You do not need a time machine or a fortune to find one. You just need knowledge, patience, and a careful eye. If you are a coin lover, take your time examining the date, the mint mark, the lettering, and the details. Look for doubling, cracks, shifts, and unusual textures. Even a small difference can mean a huge jump in desirability. This is one of those coins where learning pays off. Now let's talk about real value, because this is where things get exciting. Normal circulated examples are usually worth only face value. However, uncirculated pieces in strong condition sell for several dollars. High-grade examples certified by grading services have sold at auction for amounts reaching into the high double digits. Rare error varieties, including strong double dies and dramatic off-center strikes, have achieved auction results ranging from the low hundreds to well over $1,000, depending on severity, eye appeal, and grade. This is why collectors are paying attention. This is why smart coin hunters are checking their change. And this is why the 2021p mint mark Washington quarter crossing the Delaware is no longer just pocket change, but a modern collectible with real market respect and growing worth. If you enjoyed this deep dive, stay curious, keep searching, and remember that sometimes history, rarity, and value are hiding right in your hand.